Hello everyone, hope you're all doing good. My apologies in advance for if you hear any vehicles in the background or dogs barking whatnot, or for whatever happens with the audio. This is what I have for now. This will have to make do, but nonetheless, just popping in to check in, trying to make a little bit of a update video, check-in video. Today's cardio session. Started implementing cardio once again. I'm not gonna go into too much of the details because I'm gonna do another video regarding fitness goals and direction and whatnot, but just wanted to check in specifically for this cardio session. I'm about 30 minutes in. I think you can see that right there. 3,100 steps in. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to do is get my 10,000 steps in, 10k steps, but with a little bit of a twist where instead of getting my 10,000 steps a day, I'm trying to have my cardio session by itself be 10,000 steps, which is a little bit more challenging. And because I'm a masochist and I love torturing myself, not only am I doing those 10,000 steps in a single cardio session of walking, pretty fast-paced walking, I'm trying to make it to 1,000 steps every 10 minutes, or if I can get to 1,000 steps in less than that, great. And also, as if that weren't enough of a task already, I also have a backpack on me that has two 25-pound plates inside, so I am carrying an extra 50 pounds on me, plus whatever is on the backpack, because I never check it, but yeah, that's what I'm doing, just checking in. I will probably check in, how I'm feeling at the hour mark and when I'm done. So this is check-in 1 of today's cardio session. See you later. What's up? So this is the 1 hour mark checkup on today's cardio. Let me pull this clock over here. So I got 1 hour, about 6k steps, right on cue, doing good. My shoulders are starting to feel a little bit, but it's fine, it's part of it. It's part of fucking, almost speed walking to a certain degree with 50 pounds on a backpack. So, but I'm doing good. Something that I also try to keep in mind is try to keep myself going at a decent pace, because whenever I walk with weights or carrying weights, comes a point where I start to get a little bit sluggish, kind of bitching out, and just trying to stay on top of remembering, using things like, hey, 1,000 steps every 10 minutes, or trying to do it less, sort of like a guidance, and trying to keep a decent amount of pace, but yeah, I try to keep a decent pace, and try to be on the lookout for myself mentally, so that I can catch myself bitching out and slugging, getting sluggish and dragging my feet. And I essentially just tell myself, hey, just keep going slow, go. And usually that does the trick, you know. Just trying to actually, you know, I know that sounds weird or stupid, but I mean it in a more, in an approach where it requires you to be a little bit more present with the walk in itself and not just, you know, going through the motions, you know. Because when you start just going through the motion, that's when you slow down. You don't even notice. You know, it's been 2 hours, and you know the goal that you have, that you had, like for me in this instance, is to try and get this done in about an hour, hour and a half. You know, it has happened to me before where, you know, it's been 2 hours and I'm still not fucking done because I got slow, and it sucks because it's, you know, you lost extra time and you're still not done, but you still spent 2 hours, you know, or more than what you should have with that weight on, so you're even more tired, so it sucks even more. So it's harder to keep, you know, that sort of motivation if you're that type of person or not. But you know, just touching base, sort of like the midway point over here. Usually I can get this done in about an hour and a half, yeah, hour and a half, hour and 35 minutes, because an hour and a half is like 9,000, and I know that from my house to where I walk is usually about 500 steps. So as soon as I get that 9,500 mark, I start walking back home. But needless to say, we're still here getting it done. Check with you guys later. All right, you guys, last checkup. I'm at an hour and 38, and as you can see, yep, 9,500 right there. So it's pretty dark, so I'm doing this before I run out of a light. But yeah, on my way home right now, which is about those last few 500 steps, and we'll be done. See you guys later. What's up, you guys? I'm home. I made it. Oh, we did the hour 47 10k 160 what, yeah, 10,195. You know, made it. Hour 45 minutes, you know, and according to the 1,000 steps every 10 minutes, pretty dead on, off by like 5 minutes, and you know, whatever, because I haven't stopped it. Yeah. So about, give or take, you know, 43 minutes I think it was, because I had to take my backpack off, and you know, the house was closed, get my keys off, and then close everything, and then come into my room. But so yeah, about Jesus, hour and 43 minutes I'd say, you know, 10k steps and 190, you know, 190 something, 95 I think it was, which brings the daily total to about I don't know why I can't see it, or I can't see you, but there we are, you know, 10k and 530 steps. You know, I think it's pretty dead on. I think I'm gonna have to like step it up a bit. I want to try and get it in a way where I can sort of let's say, I was thinking about this while I was walking, maybe eat up about 100 steps extra every 10 minutes, and in the hour and a half time frame, that would equate to, without those extra 100, that would equate to like 9,000. But if I can eat away anywhere from like an extra 50 to 100 steps added on to those 1,000 every 10 minutes. I could eat at it a little bit. I could get it to where it's at least at the 9K and 500 steps, at the hour and a half mark, or a little bit earlier. But getting on it, made it. I did this two times last week, sort of like to get a pace for it, and I was slow. I was very slow. I was, like I think I mentioned in this video, the 2 hour mark came through and I was still under fucking 9K the first day, and then the second day the 2 hour mark came again and I was still in like 9,300, 9,400, something like that. I'm like, fuck, I want to stay on that pocket of like now with what I thought with this new strategy that I'm thinking about, I want to stay in that pocket of 1,000 steps every 10 minutes. So now like 1,050, 1,000, 1,100 steps every 10 minutes. But it's pretty decent considering that the fast pace, it's not just walking until you get the 10K steps, or it's not just walking for a specific time frame. It's sort of like everything a little bit harder, which is I had 10K steps within the hour and a half time frame, or as close as I can get it to, according towards that mark of 1,000 steps every 10 minutes. And I have a backpack that has 50 pounds inside of it, 2 25-pound plates. So it's pretty decent. But yeah, made it. I'm going to take a shower, probably snack on something, snack for me, especially in these last couple of months, has been either some jasmine rice with chicken, trying to keep it as budget friendly as possible, keep the budget tight. I'm not as what's the words that I'm looking for, I'm not as I used to have a little bit like a better job before and all this other stuff and whatnot, so economically speaking I'm not that gifted right now, but I don't have a problem with that. We make do with whatever it is that we have, and that's what I'm doing right now. Usually my diet's consisting of just jasmine rice and chicken, and I get my fats from sticking all the bones from set chickens in a crock pot and boiling that and making stock out of that, and that's how I get my fats. So jasmine rice for the carbs, chicken for the protein, and the chicken bone broth for the fats. And it's been really it's been the most cost-effective diet I think I've done. But I ain't got a problem with it. It's part of the growth process once again, especially what I'm gonna be doing pretty soon. Gonna make a couple of moves, updates of lifestyle and whatnot. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking about this. I think I'm gonna touch on a little bit of this more regarding towards the fitness aspect of my life and the sort of lifestyle towards the fitness and whatnot. But I'm obviously not gonna be able to quote unquote hide it forever, so to speak, or whatever it is that I'm doing, or not necessarily that I want to, or at least not the way that I want to do it forever. But yeah, the reason that I mentioned that is because I'm gonna do a couple of other channels, or I have another channel. It's more dedicated towards my personal life and essentially just me having conversations with myself, about life philosophy and all these other things, life goals, experiences, feelings and whatnot. And I'm also gonna be starting a book channel because I've always wanted to do that. I like books, I like reading, I like learning, I like keeping my brain informed, trying to be less and less ignorant as time goes on, not the other way around. And yeah, so keep an eye out for those channels as well. I'm reading my first book that I'm going to be talking about on that book channel. And yeah, but for now, you know, we're here, made it. And like I said, I'm going to take a shower, eat, and go to bed because, you know, I'm pretty off my schedule right now. This watch is like an hour ahead, so I got about half an hour before I have to go to bed, so I'm kind of like behind. So yeah, have a good night, guys, or day, wherever it is that you're seeing this. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. You know, I know it's kind of like, you know, jump in, jump out, but you know, that's the main purpose of this channel. You know, I am going to be making videos, you know, going in a little bit deeper or in more of a detailed manner in the future, but I'm also going to be doing this type of video as well, you know, just, you know, when it comes to the workouts, dropping them in, and, you know, whatever those may be, you know, cardio such as this, weight training, whatever it is. So trying to keep it not necessarily on purpose, you know, as various or with as much variety as possible. It's just I don't know, I think this is more my style. I just like to, you know, be raw and just, you know, put the clips together and, you know, just put it out there. You know, maybe like I said in the first video, maybe this will turn into a little bit more production and whatnot, but that's not my goal really, because I don't care that much about that. I just care about documenting my journey and all this stuff, and, you know, whoever tags along, thankful for that. And, you know, hopefully whatever it is that I'm doing, you know, either inspires somebody to do the same, or, you know, maybe inspires them to be a little bit better than they were yesterday, because that's ultimately my goal, be a little bit better than I was yesterday. But enough for today. Have a good one. Thanks for watching. Take care.